Hi everyone. When we want to play with trains, the first thing we need to think about is a railway system. So here's my advanced guide on how to set up and choose a railway system. There are three commonly used systems. You can use a double-headed train, you can use a single-headed train with one track, or you can use a single-headed train with two tracks. A double-headed train means you have a locomotive at each end facing in the opposite direction. The train stations for these setups need to always point to the end of the line. That way you don't need a loop for the train to turn around, which makes the system pretty space efficient. But you need an additional locomotive, which means you need more power for the train. And as soon as you have more than two stations, there's a possibility that the train turns around, so the order of the freight cars will reverse, which can mess up all of your production if you are transporting more than one type of wares on a train. The second possibility is a one-headed train with a railway system with one track only. This is actually, at the moment, the most efficient setup to do. But as far as I know, Coffee Stain is planning to integrate collisions for trains. As soon as they do that, the system won't work with more than one train on a track anymore. To avoid that, you can build a system with dual tracks, which works just like normal streets, with trains going in one direction on one side, the opposite direction on the other side. The next thing we need to think about is train stations and the trains themselves. So a train with multiple freight cars can easily be transporting multiple different kinds of items without getting them mixed up. To do that, you just have to make sure that the order you load the freight cars and the order you unload the freight cars is the same. But I myself find that having a train station with multiple freight terminals for one item only and trains with which transporting one item only is the most advantageous for me. That way, if I need a higher throughput for my stations, I can just build additional freight terminals and longer my trains to transport more wares in the same time. The most efficient way to lay tracks would be to have them in a direct line between the two stations the train is going. But you might want to build something like a main track or a circular railway around the map, like I did. If you want to do that, you should place your train stations away from the main track, so they can circle around as soon as they dropped off your goods and just go straight back to where they can be loaded again. You can also get the same effect by having roundabouts or turning loops on your main track right behind the station. But this system is actually a little bit more problematic later on with collisions, because turning trains will slow down all traffic. To build an intersection, you can use a classical junction or a roundabout. Both of them I showed you in my last video about trains already. It is really hard to say which one is better. At the moment it doesn't make any difference. Later on with collisions it is heavily depending on how they're going to implement signals. So just use what you like best or what looks best for you. And you're going to need to figure that out as soon as they patch signals in the game. When you want to lay down tracks, there's a few things you might want to know. First thing is the turning radius of the railways. The railways have a turning radius of exactly 17 meters. This means 2 foundations and 1 tick. I find it easiest to just take 3 foundations as a perfect 90-degree turn. But if you want to do a circle, this is going to look a little bit out of shape, like this. So if you want to make a small, perfectly round circle, make a floor out of 5 times 5 foundations. Take the outermost foundation, go 3 meters back in, and place a track parallel to the border. Do this on the other side facing away from the track also. Now you can place new tracks exactly 45 degrees to the place where the 4 foundations meet in the middle. Do this again from the other side to have a smooth 90 degrees turn. Repeat this on the other side. Now you can delete the straight tracks and do it for the last 2 corners. You can easily split off the tracks from any point where 2 tracks meet. This is going to create a switch where you can manually decide in which direction the train should go. Otherwise, a train with a timetable will automatically change the switches so they go to the direction where they want to go. Take care to don't build more than 1 split in the same place, otherwise neither you nor the AI is going to be able to control which way the train is going to go. The maximum elevation you can build a track is 3 meters per foundation, or a small on a big foundation for 2 foundations length. But to do that you will need to build a ramp on each foundation, otherwise it will not work. Lastly, if you build a track upwards or downwards over multiple foundations, you're going to get a staircase effect like this. Unless you have exactly the right length to only use the small slopes the whole way. You can change the elevation of a slope by turning it slightly out of alignment. That way you can avoid the staircase effect on smaller elevations too. If you like this guide and want to see more like this, please leave me a like and subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. See ya!